Zero apologies.
Droppin Truths.
This is Kyle Cronk.
And I'm Dr. Sarahlloyd.
We are here to bring you compelling topics on social justice and anti-racism work in our local community with YMCA leaders.
We're so excited you're joining us. We hope you learn together and you get to grapple with the truths we drop.
So it's time to do the work. Buckle up. Zero apologies.
Droppin Truths.
Woo! We are back.
Welcome back, friends.
Yes, they told us not to refer to the numbers on the episode, which is really hard for me because I was really chronological there
Just
for a while.
pull a random number and just say it with all your soul.
Episode
Ready?
34.
Get it. Nice.
Feeling good.
Feeling
Actually,
good.
we should have called it 21.
We should have called it 21. And why is that, Kyle?
Well, because somebody came up with some crazy idea that we're going to ask me 21 questions
we are.
that I am quite possibly ill prepared to answer.
You're fine because you'll be fine. Also, are we going to ask you 21 questions?
Maybe just you are.
Okay.
But remember, it's
I really
we
want
before
to hear.
me.
I really want to hear the questions you ask yourself. You're like, dear
God,
Kyle.
no, you
Okay.
do not.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you 21 questions.
But first, let's talk about that shirt because I love it.
She black.
I like it.
She hella black.
I like it.
I like your shirt.
I know. I have a friend that.
White silence is violence.
Yes.
Yes.
So
I love it.
Thank you.
Say it with your chest.
I know. I like it. It's good. Feels good.
Yes, I love it.
So how do you feel about the opportunity to ask me 21 questions that I have no idea what the questions are?
I think it's so good.
You feel good about that?
I also feel like I thought I had more time before you'd agree to do it. So I don't know if I'm like blissfully happy with my questions, but it's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Are you ready?
Fine.
Are you
Fine.
sweating?
I'm
Are
trying
you
to get
sweating?
ready. Oh, yeah. I started sweating this morning when I heard that this is what we might do.
Okay. Number 1.
Oh, hopefully it's a softball question.
What is your no-fail, go for it motivational song?
Black. Pearl Jam.
Okay. I thought you were going to say like Buddy Black because that would be fascinating if that was your go-to song. Do you know that song?
I don't.
Please listen to it later today. And
Buddy
you'll
Black.
understand this moment that I just had.
Okay.
I was like, no way. Okay. Why that?
There are a lot of songs that I like, and that one is just so, I don't know, it just motivates me.
Nice.
And I like the guitar on that particular song.
Naturally. If you could send a note to yourself in
geez.
2030, what would it say?
In 2030, which is how long from now? Where are we? 2021? 2020.
Yeah.
So 10 years from now,
Yep.
I would say the note to myself would be, congratulations,
Ooh.
because you helped make a significant difference in the lives of your communities.
That's dope.
Mhm.
I love that. What's one thing in life you're so glad you did?
Had children.
That's such a good question. I wasn't ready for that.
What?
You're going to be sweating. I'm going to be crying. That's
Yeah,
fine.
right.
Okay. What gives you hope?
This. Zero apologies.
Oh.
The YMCA, talking about social justice, centering blackness. You and I did some stuff the other day with some social justice committee work, and you created this amazing document, and then you asked me to write some stuff. And I think that, the work right now, I've never been more committed or drawn to a purpose like I feel like right now in this work of equity work.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Sure. What book are you reading right now?
Why I stopped talking to white people about race.
Ooh, that's a really good one. That's
It
a
is
really
good.
book.
Wait, hold on a minute.
Hold on.
Fascinating about that book. One little, so much learning in that book, but what the author does at the beginning of the book is she talks about the history of anti-blackness and slavery and racism in England and in Europe in general. And I mean, it doesn't mirror by the dates, but it mirrors like everything that's happened in the United States and probably globally. And so it's just a fascinating book in terms of learning, and it's just overwhelmingly good. Highly recommend if you're looking to do your individual work. When people say, and this is the other thing, when people say, you know, do the work, what is the work of equity or anti-racism? And there's a difference between, you know, diversity, inclusion, and or DEI work and being anti-racist. And it's for me, it's action oriented. So you're doing something specifically. You're standing up, speaking out. You know, you could be protesting, you could be advocating, you're doing something, but you're furthering your learning. And for me personally, on the individual side of that work, it's relearning and unlearning a bunch of stuff that I was taught that isn't really true. And relearning that and taking a hard look at what was my complicity in that whole thing, and that my silence, sometimes silence because I was ignorant, because I didn't know better. But even when, for just speaking, I'm not speaking for all white people, but for me as a white man, knowing that something didn't feel right, and like I could tell that something isn't right, like my stomach didn't feel right. I knew that people saying things about people, calling them names, being derogatory, and then not taking the proactive step to stand up and say something to somebody. One, because I was scared because maybe I would get hurt, or I was scared because I didn't know what I would say or what the right words were, or they were, you know, held power over me in some form or another. So that book is great. So you ought to read that book, and you ought to do the individual work, because once you do the individual work, for me, what that has allowed, and it's been, you know, multiple years. It's not like I just started reading this yesterday. So once you do the work, then getting into community and connecting with people, and then doing the work together, then we're going back to the couple episodes that we've done where we talk about, you know, what do we need to join the battle? We need, you know, 68% of the people. And that is the connection piece. It's like, then we can start to learn that together. That was a big divergent thing from what book am I reading.
love it. This is why we're doing the thing.
Well, good.
What's the best mistake you've ever made?
Oh, God, this is silly. Are you ready for a silly story?
Sure.
Okay, so this is why I'm not in construction. And you asked me, right, do I know, the last episode you said, do I know anything about construction?
I know a bit about construction.
Yeah, I barely know anything. So I worked at Camp Kyla. You know that my roots go back to camp. And I worked several summers in a row. I'll try to get to this super quick. Several summers in a row, I'm working, you know, normal summer camp stuff. At the end of one of the summers, I've kind of at a loss. I didn't have to go back to school. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I stayed on as a maintenance person at the camp. And
aren't you terrible at fixing things?
Yeah, but at this point, I didn't know this. So I'm like 19 or 20 years old. So, right, I think that I can fix anything. Typical white male, right? I can solve any problem. So my task in this thing, we're going to get this all the cabins in the entire camp. There's like 150 cabins. They all need to get refitted with safety rails on the bunks. So there's two, right? There's a bunk bed. So I was told, hey, you're in charge of this whole project. So I go down to one cabin and I measure my stuff. And I go to the lumber yard and I get all the lumber. Thousands of dollars worth of lumber. And we set up this thing where we plane all the wood and we make all the cuts. We do it all in the shop, right?
Okay.
So I did the whole thing. I'm not kidding. This whole barn is full of wood. I go down to the cabin that I measured and I install my thing. Good to go. I go back, get more wood, go to cabin 2. Start to install the wood. It doesn't fit. I go to cabin 3. I try to install the thing. It doesn't fit. Too short. Holes are in the wrong spot. I only measured, all the cabins were not the same. So my boss at the time comes to me and and takes me aside and he says, I just don't think this work you're cut out for. And that's how
amazing.
Yeah, that's the story. What was the question that you asked? What's my most embarrassing?
What's the best mistake you've ever made?
Oh, that's the best mistake I've made. Because that got me into a career path that I'm good at.
There you go.
I don't have to cut anything or measure.
It's good you're not cutting anything now.
Right.
Yeah. What's your favorite place on earth?
Ooh. Place called Black Butte Ranch. It's in Central Oregon. Central Southern-ish Oregon.
Sounds very rustic.
It's not. It's very fancy.
Oh. You
It's-
like
it's a-
something
It's like it's a ranch. It's kind of fancy. It's a ranch that was converted into both like it's a vacation place, but people live there too. So it's got these different they call them like clubhouses, with pools and fitness centers, and then there's whole I don't even know how much, but there's a lot of biking paths. Big fan.
Wow. I've never been there. It's pretty surprising, huh? What should be required reading for every human?
Winter Dance.
What is that?
It is a book about the Iditarod.
Oh.
And really, it's a book about this one person's relationship with his dogs that he knows nothing about. He doesn't know anything about dogs, he doesn't know anything about sled dogs, and he doesn't know anything about the Iditarod. But he wants to do the Iditarod, so he goes out and gets these dogs and has to learn a lot about dogs. And the dogs are no joke. These are real, these dogs, work, and he needs to learn all it. And it's super funny.
Nice.
The episodes and the situations that he gets in with his dogs is quite humorous.
So it's like White Fang plus racing plus humor.
Yeah, although I don't know White Fang.
What?
Yeah, sorry. You should read Winter Dance.
I will write that down when I watch this episode. What's one thing you were wrong about? It's going to be hard to find one. Do you need a minute?
No, I got lots of things I'm wrong about. What's one thing I'm wrong about? How long COVID would last?
Ooh. Yeah, that's real.
Yeah. Because right now it's 2020. We've confirmed that.
I like how you didn't know that until we confirmed it. You're
So
like, how many
it's
years is
2020.
that?
It started in March.
Yeah.
We had in my world as working at the Y, we gathered our executive team together, and we had some sticky notes up on the wall, and the big butcher paper stuff, and we were making we went 3 months and had some notes, and then we went 9 months and had some notes, and then we went 12 months and had some notes, and we had 18 months and had some notes. So those were our shots in the dark. Everyone's okay here on the set.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Safety first.
What would you love to invent?
Oh, I wish I would have invented. There's a lot of different things I'd like to have invented. I mean, the iPhone would have been a good one,
Yeah.
right? I mean, anything in the tech world.
So you would invent something in the tech world?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. What movie could you watch on an endless loop?
Movie, not a show.
Well, that was the question, but
Yeah.
if you want
Okay.
to change
No.
it to show, you can.
Gross Point Blank, I guess.
Why
seen
that
that?
one? I have seen it.
Well, because it's funny. It's really funny.
Okay. Okay.
Joan Cusack's sister is just brilliant.
Yeah, she's amazing.
It's a soup. Those in the audience that knew that.
Yeah, there you go. When was the last time you felt awe? When's the last time you felt awe?
Like cute or
No,
like
AWE.
Oh, okay.
Awe.
That's a really good one. I would say maybe the last time or the first time. What was the question?
Time.
Last time. I mean, I think that there's a lot of power right now in our South Sound YMCA full-time staff group meetings that are happening on Thursday mornings. They happen every Thursday. They've been happening pretty much all year. And
on Blue Jeans?
It is on Blue Jeans, which is a stupid name for a virtual platform, but it is. Yeah, so it's on Blue Jeans. We meet virtually, and we have these, there are conversations around social justice and anti-racism work that our Y is doing. And the awe that I feel is the engagement and connection that these, I think there's 27 or 30 people on these calls, and the way that they are engaging is really inspiring. It's been one of the high points of my career.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Shout out to South Sound YMCA staff.
Yeah, staff are great.
What's one thing in life you're so glad you did?
I'm glad I went to camp. If I never went to camp, there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't have happened.
Who knows where you'd be right now?
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't have. Construction worker somewhere.
Probably not. They wouldn't let me cut anything or measure anything. I'd have to be
like,
the guy on the shovel probably.
Stop touching stuff, Cronk.
Look, if we give him a shovel, he can only dig a hole so far.
That's amazing. If you could choose any magical power, what would it be?
Oh, I'd like to fly.
Ooh.
Skip the whole airport
complex thing?
No Superman deal. I just want to get where I want to go.
Gotcha.
No traffic. Imagine no traffic.
Oh my gosh. Traffic is so infuriating.
I know. Bypass I-5, the whole 9 yards.
What historical event would you most like to have witnessed?
Oh, the inauguration of Barack Obama.
Like be there in person?
Yeah, but like not in the crowd. Like I want to be standing with him. I don't have any desire to be in a big ass crowd. I just want to be
right there with Barry.
Yeah, he likes it when you call him that too.
Yeah, he does. What do you think about on long drives or flights?
On flights, I sleep. On long drives,
you can sleep on planes?
Oh yeah. Oh, but it's kind of lame. It's funny because I'll get into the plane, I'll be ready to taxi, especially if it's relatively early, and I'll fall asleep taxiing, and then as soon as we go up, then boom, I'm awake. So that's a drag. On long drives, I mean, it depends on what's going on in my life and in the world.
What's your pettiest pet peeve?
I really despise being sticky. And no one in my family has that same pet peeve. In fact, they could be sitting in honey and they would not care.
They'd be like, oh, okay.
Oh, I love honey.
This is the best.
And right now, there's sticky stuff in 2 spots in my life. Right by the door when I leave, which is shocking because I don't know how anything sticky could be there. And there's sticky stuff in my garage. It is unbelievable. I don't know how it's possible. And there is nothing worse than being sticky.
They do it to mess with you, right?
They're
like, syrup, get it.
I didn't realize how sticky apple juice is when you.
Oh yeah.
When it spills on your floor.
Yep, that's real. Okay. Who's one person that's changed your life?
My wife, Meegan. Significantly. And a guy named Kurt Gersten. And a person named Sarahlloyd.
Okay.
I mean, we could keep going down the list.
We said one person.
Okay, fair enough.
So Meegan.
Meegan.
Nice. Thanks, Meegan. We appreciate you. What's one thing you would change about yourself?
Physically, or I have really bad shoulders. So I would prefer to have shoulders that aren't hurt all the time. Because I like to work out and do different things, and it putting anything overhead is painful.
Wow. So of all the things you could shift and change, you would change your shoulders.
Yep.
Wow.
For right now.
Is that what it's like to be white?
I have no idea. You'd have to ask all
You're
the
like,
white people.
I just have this one thing. That's all I got. Okay, that's amazing. Shout out to white people.
This isn't 21 questions to white people. This is 21 questions to me.
But you're a reflection.
No,
Kyle,
no,
you're
no,
a reflection of your race right now.
Yeah, but
you're
I do
a reflection
not,
of your
I
race
do
right
not,
now.
Yeah.
That's,
I do not speak for all white people.
We know, actually.
I'm
That's
wi-
not even how that works.
I'm
and
with
I
ya.
feel like in the last episode, you're like, I'm not speaking on behalf of all white people, which I was like, that's such a redundant thing to say because no white people speak on behalf of all white people. That's a black thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. Shout out to you.
New shoulders.
What's the greatest gift we can give each other? Not we. We.
Humanity?
Yeah.
Oh, we could end racism. That would help.
Final answer.
Final answer.
That would help.
Don't you think?
This is not 21 questions about Sarah.
No, I know. I just.
Thank you. I'm not going to answer that.
Fair enough.
What's the greatest gift we can give ourselves?
Ooh. Maybe grace.
That was really biblical of you.
Yeah, thank you. You know, my foray into the Bible has been big lately. We got
I know.
Micah,
We got
6:8, and we've got what did I
Mordecai.
say? Mordecai and Esther.
Yep.
I forget what section of Esther we were talking about.
Probably all 6 chapters.
I got something for you on that.
Sweet. I can't wait. Okay, this is question 21,
We're almost done. This
Yeah.
this feels like a win.
right? That we're almost done? Or that we
You
did
didn't
it?
know that we're almost done.
Okay. This is a really important one.
Oh, jeez.
Are you ready?
I probably not, but go ahead.
Okay. Why do you care so much about Black lives?
I mean, I think it goes back to early on in an episode that we've had. It's about affinity. It's about the people in my life that I've been connected to. And it started with Roger Ward.
Roger Ward. Shout out to Roger Ward.
And I don't even remember what grade I was in. It must have been like 3rd through 6th grade. And I don't think Roger stayed in Puyallup. He must have moved on because I don't remember him in middle school. And then, from there, then I, met significant people that were black in my life at Camp Orkyla. And then from there in Michigan, I worked, I don't know, I've just been in affinity with black people all my life. And I can't, and what was the question again?
Why do you care so much about Black
Yeah,
lives?
that's why. Because I've been in connection with black people my entire life. And I can't stand by and continue to be complicit in their demise. And through, anti-blackness and racism, the whole thing has to come down. And my job as a accomplice or whatever you want to call whatever it is that I do is to stand up to that, to talk about it, to sit with the discomfort, to own my place in the racist society that we're in and my own white supremacy, and all of that sort of stuff rolls into one thing. And, the vessel through the Y, through this particular podcast that we're doing, that is this work. And my job is to bring more people to this work and let them question it. And, if people are going to throw rocks at me and do me harm in some way, then so be it. I mean, that is the purpose for which I am on this planet.
See, that's why I fucks with you. I fucks with you heavy because of that shit right there.
Right.
Well, you survived it. 21
I did.
questions
Well, it was a sweaty
about
mess, though.
Kyle Cronk. Are you sweating right now? But you made it.
That's
Good
all
job.
right, yeah.
Why did we do this?
I don't know exactly. Why did we do this?
Because I think it's important to understand at a deeper level what it is about why you're showing up and the way you're showing up. I think it's important. Because I think otherwise people could try to duplicate what you're doing and not actually replicate it. Right? Because it's like on the surface, you're just like this dude who has a job and like decided with a board member to like do a podcast, and then they like sit in chairs and talk about shit.
Right.
I can do that. Sure. Let me schedule it. Right.
Right.
But like there's actual real depth and intention, which came through in random ways with 21 questions.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, well, cool. That was awesome. I want to go back 1 second to talk about when we came up with this idea. Do you remember when we were talking about this?
The first time?
The idea of the podcast?
The first time?
What do you
or
mean
recently?
the first time?
Because we've talked about doing this a few times.
Yeah, the first time when we were talking about why we would do that. Mm-hmm. And the concept of two people who were doing real work. Well, first, naming what the work was, because I don't think it was clear to people. It wasn't even clear to me exactly what when people say you got to do the work, what was that work? And and some of it was what I was talking about. You know, there's some individual stuff, there's community level stuff, there's organizational level stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And we thought when we proposed the idea back and forth and we were going back and bantering, it was like, wouldn't it be great if two people could sit down and show how to do, like literally how to do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think like there's so you are a colleague of mine, and you also are a very good friend of mine. You've become a very good friend through this process, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's not just like we're co-hosts on a podcast, like we actually do life together. And so I think like creating a platform to model how you do that, because I think so many people have a black friend, but not many people do life with black folks, right? And so I think it's creating that space of like, it means like not inviting me into rooms to be vulnerable without sharing vulnerability also. It means like, you know, it's the random Camp or Kyla memories, but it's also like why you're reading what you're reading. It's right. All of that. Like, and so unless we're like, when we talk about building community and doing life with people who are doing the work, it's modeling the full scope of that, right? Mm-hmm. That we celebrate random ass shit. Like, you have nicknames for my kids. Like, I have witnessed Lexi trying to sneak on you, right? Yeah, right. So yeah, all of those things, I think it's all of that, and right. It's about having hard conversations too. Yeah, being in that relationship and understanding, you know, the authenticity of somebody else, mm-hmm. and then also being able to have some challenging, thought-provoking conversations, like, you know, trying to understand the conversation that you would have with Breslin about like where she has to have her hands. Right. It's like that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah. And you can't do any of it without doing all of it, right? Right. Yeah. No, not at all. It's real shit. You want to shout out a black-owned business? I do. It's my turn. The tables have turned. It's funny. You're asking questions. Exactly. I'm dropping truths on businesses. Generations Midwifery Services LLC. Yep. And it's in Lacey. It is. And it's black owned. Yep. Do you know anything else about it? No, they're bringing babies into the world. The damn right. Yeah. That's cool. So I personally think, you know, anytime you put things in the hands of black women and women of color, it probably goes better. So it does. We found that. We found that out with the election, did we not? Yep. You're welcome, America. Yes. By the way. So. Thank you. Are Cabin you going to show? Yeah. What's up with Cabin Light? I fucking love Cabin Light Studios. You gotta love them. I love them. They're brown owned. They're brown operated. Yep. They do quality work. They're on like the friggin' takeover. They are. And they do stuff for the Y. They do stuff for everybody around here. Yeah, everybody. Awesome. Everybody. If you're not doing it with Cabin Light Studios, then level up and do it. So yeah, I believe strongly in pouring into brown generational wealth. For sure. I love them.
All right, this was a great episode.
Real good.
I appreciate
It
the
was
21
real good.
questions. That was fun.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
Bye.
Peace out. This was Zero Apologies.
Droppin Truths.
White folks, share this with your friends and make sure you're doing the work.
And black folks, welcome home.